Okay, Red Bull Ring in Austria, which we love. Tim and I both agree this is a great track.
Big Wiener Schnitzel, guys.
Big Wieners. Big Wieners. As in first place, Wieners. Now, this track is one of the most fun, and it also gave us some of the most drama last year when Max Verstappen, according to some, drove Lando Norris off the track. According to Lando Norris, drove Lando Norris off the track. Max wouldn't put it quite that way.
No.
He'd say it was just good, hard racing.
It was good, hard racing.
And so would Christian, too. Shocking. But it did lead to a bit of a dust-up between the two, and they had to have a conversation about how they were going to race each other afterwards, which is kind of nuts.
Well, I mean, Adam, I think this just comes back to this is where Max learned how he could race Lando.
And it's kind of been... to be honest with you, it was a precedent setter, right?
This has been like this the whole way ever since.
Yeah.
Right here, this is where...
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I don't think it's changed ever since. I think he's raced him exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
What's interesting, too, in the F125 game is they've actually got the spots on the track where they put down new asphalt. Yeah. So I think that's kind of hilarious too. There's like pieces where it looks old and there's pieces where it looks black and brand new.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, gravel. Like, how are we on gravel all of a sudden?
So we're going to do the full sort of run through, but a little bit of history because this is, it's a very interesting track. It's obviously Red Bull's home track, but it's also one of the tracks that, was sort of rebuilt, right? This was not a track that was originally there. It's the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria, with a circuit length of 4.31 kilometers, 10 turns, 3 separate DRS zones. That's what makes it so fun. Red Bull packs a lot of excitement into one of the smallest tracks. Last year, George Russell claimed victory after front runners Max Verstappen and Lando Norris came together on lap 64, which we mentioned.
Nothing to see here.
We will ignore that happened. Max Verstappen holds the record for the most Austrian GP victories with 4, which probably makes his team's Austria-based parent company very, very happy. Now,
very happy.
This is one of those weekends I would think where McLaren's going to want to come in and try to dominate and embarrass Red Bull at their own, in their own home.
For sure. And this is going to be a place where Red Bull is going to obviously want to win.
Yes. Oh, no kidding.
But, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think actually this could be a track where Red Bull could be pretty good, actually.
Now, on video games, you don't get the sense of elevation. Although on F125, I have to be honest, you get a lot more of it than you used to. Look at the right here as you kind of cascade down the hill. Can you feel it?
You can feel the bumps in the road along there, too. Like, the car feels like it's going ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
That's cool. I like that.
Oh, that's invalid for sure.
That's all right. That's all right. Now, Tim, let's...
You're like, that's all right. You were just showing us with your hands.
Whatever. So let's talk about, as we come around the last turn here into the straightaway, let's go through the track, kind of like we did in Montreal. We'll slow it down, and we'll talk about each corner. You come through this. This is a very fast straightaway.
You're hauling ass, hard on the brakes, throw it in.
Hey, there you go.
Basically, it's it feels kind of like some of these corners are really threading the eye of a needle. Like, you kind of have to hit everything at a certain way. For here in particular, you can use some of the track. I mean, sometimes I think you'll probably see the drivers in qualifying get pretty close to around here, making sure the wheels aren't all totally off the track, obviously. Then it's track limits, but it opens up the corner.
You're using that pavement to the side, basically.
A little bit, yeah. Like the game doesn't penalize you for it. Mm-hmm. But I would say, I bet a lot of the drivers, when they come up to, say, here, the car may veer over to here a little bit. Mm-hmm. And basically straddle this a tiny, tiny bit while they're braking. And it kind of like opens up the entry to the corner a bit more. So it's all these like little tiny tricks around the track. And you kind of want to get close to the apex here and just unwind the wheel as much as you can coming out, because again, the more steering lock you have in, the slower you're going to go. For this section here, it's interesting because they're hauling ass down towards here, and you're going downhill. So you think, okay, this should be enough brake pressure, but actually you want to add more because of the downhill like inertia. You're actually like, it's harder to slow the car down and understand how much braking you actually really need because of the downhill factor to it. And so that's a good part of this track that makes it so unique, is the elevation changes. that are to it, like a proper European circuit.
Right.
It's kind of like a big go-kart track, really. For here, same thing. Brake a little bit, downshift, and then you can see the car, like it bumps like when you're going through there. The car's moving around. Here, you kind of want to be around here. When you're, again, opens the corner up more. Brake really hard. Initially, this one can be like a quick stab at the brake to kind of get some, get a positive front end to get into the corner. Maybe it's a little lift, but it is a downshift for sure. And then you're flat out like through here. Like this is flat. This has to be a wild ride for these drivers coming through here. Because you're absolutely flying, man. Like,
yeah,
absolutely flying.
So what's interesting about some of these corners too is you get out of the corner and you almost are straightening out, but then the corner's not quite done yet. There's always that little bit of extra. Like this one is a terrible example of what I'm trying to give you, because this is actually a great corner, hook right in, right?
Well, I mean, it's also kind of like your apex is blind as well. We'll just ignore all of this sloppy driving, breaking the signs. I'm probably going to break another one.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Yeah, smash those signs. There we go. See how blind everything is, right? The 150 mark, the 100 mark is up there as well. But again, like it's totally blind. You cannot see it. And where we're sitting in the car right now, like we've got a good visual on everything, right? You get a little lower into the car and that dramatically changes.
Yeah, because you're not like, if you're sitting in the car, and you can put it to track view at some points.
I can figure out how to do it.
We'll have to figure out how to do it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go. So you can't see. Look, you can't see.
You can't see anything, right?
So you just got to know it. And so how? I guess with a track like this in a video game, by far this is my favorite track. By far.
So I love this track. This is a great track. This is awesome.
But Tim, in real life,
so blind. Like
you can't. You got to have confidence in your car.
Yeah, well,
and your brakes.
You need to make sure that like your references, so where you're going to start braking, it'll set you up for the entire corner. And so remember, I don't know if you know this, but I've said it on the podcast a lot, where it's like the braking of a corner is like the first domino to fall within the cornering phase. So when we're coming up to here, let's just say I'm using, I don't even know. Let's back it up a bit. And we'll see if we can find some sort of a reference that we might be able to use. So you kind of want to look for a nick in the pavement or this orange piece of wall right here. And you kind of just see that in the corner of your eye, right? It's just like, and that's when you like initiate your braking. And eventually you'll find something as you're doing your laps and whatever. These drivers, since they go to the track so often, they already sort of know where their reference points are because they know the track so well. But if you're new to it, you always want to try and feel where you think the braking kind of should be and build up a little bit. And then eventually you start picking off like little things. Maybe it's a bump in the track. Maybe it's a crack in a wall. Maybe it's, like I was saying, this orange thing right here where you initiate your braking. And then that will lead you to your bleed off and to your turn in. Now, a lot of drivers don't have turn in points. They can to build confidence in like a high speed blind corner, something you do when you're a junior driver. Because the cars don't have as much downforce and they're scary as hell. Right. Like these cars are super fast, lots of downforce. So they provide you with quite a bit of confidence. You don't necessarily need a turn in, but it's good to have one if you can find one. But the most important thing for a corner and setting it up is like having a braking reference. It's just so important. It keeps you consistent. It keeps the lap time consistent. So when you're doing, I don't even know what our lap times are. I haven't even set one here. But let's say it's like a minute 11. We'll just say it's a minute 11. So once you have your reference points, it's knowing when you're a minute 11.3 to 11.00, and having reference and knowing where the car is and where the car is at. You have to get it down to
that kind of a science.
And it's like you boom. It's like, okay, this is going to be at least 0.4, 0.5. This has got to be a 0.0. This has got to be a 0.1. This has got to be, like, you build your consistency and having lap time consistency as a driver is it's
Everything.
paramount, because you make a small change to the car and the consistency then goes away, then you know something has changed differently fundamentally with the balance that is not reacting well to your driving situation.
Got it. I mean, it's a fascinating track. Now, in terms of driving this one versus F124, I mean, what are you getting out of this track in the new game? There you go.
I would say out of this game, it's the bumps in the track. It's the realism of how much downforce the car actually has. Sound of the engine. I mean, I've always talked to you about sound of the engine, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's part of the fun.
Well,
but also, this one sounds like a Red Bull.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And then also on top of all that, not only sound of the engine, but like the engine sometimes can help you understand where you're at in the gear selection process, where you're at in the shifting process. So maybe in junior formulas, I always like to coach drivers and tell them, like, look, when you don't have the data, the telemetry, and all the nice fancy gadgets that you could have, try and just do simple things. Like if you get a good exit out of a corner, understand where you're shifting, right? Like I'm gonna pull, whatever, we'll say every time I come out there, I pull 7th gear there at that orange thing, right? Next time around, if I get a better exit, I'm pulling 7th gear like 10 feet before then. Then I know, I'm like, okay, I'm on a good lap. That actually was the way to come out of that corner properly, and that's the quickest way to come out of it.
Okay.
So little things like that you pick up as a younger junior driver. When you get into these guys' levels, I mean, these cars have so much technology on it. These are,
I mean,
you'll always have the data that you need, right? You just look down at the wheel real quick, or you see it out of the corner of your eye. You know when you're up on something, down on something. The data, like the delta times on the wheel are just like, we didn't have that stuff, man.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. It's not even that long ago if you think about how like technology has come along, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, let me ask you this. You've been to this track?
No, never. I've never been to Austria. We actually were planning on going to Austria on a summer vacation in August, but we ended up deciding to spend a week in Italy, then the Netherlands, and back to Italy for the Italian Grand Prix. So we didn't go to Austria, but this is a track I'd love to visit. Austria is a country that I've always wanted to visit because it just looks
look at the
beautiful,
vista
man.
too. Like, I mean, even you could just stop the car and be like, wow, look at that view.
Yeah, it just
looks amazing.
Like looking at videos of this place on TV, like reminds me of Vancouver. Like it's just
gorgeous.
The track is badass. So this track is great.
Well, listen, Tim, how about we do this? We get you back to the starting line here. I mean, you're doing well on this lap because you were so slow in the last one.
Okay.
But I want you to go. I want you to go
I think
balls to the wall here.
I've been slow on a lot of it.
Let's go balls to the wall. Tim Hauraney.
Okay. Well, I don't have a reference point picked out for some of the corners yet, so that's going to be an invalid lap time for sure. Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it's not because you haven't started your lap.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So this is a DRS zone here, just so everybody knows, coming out of that corner. And again, push to pass on this track next year under the new regs is going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy.
Let's do that again.
You want to do that again?
Yeah, one more time.
All right. That's fine. Restart the lap. That's okay.
It's starting to break a little bit too late and ruin the lap.
That's okay. Don't worry about this lap time. Who cares? No one cares.
Invalid lap time.
It doesn't matter. The next one, when you cross that line, then we're on a new lap. Boom.
Let's try this again.
Here we go. First corner did a lot better
Could
that
have
time.
broken later. Again, don't have a reference point for there yet.
Right.
But could have broken a lot later.
So here comes Lando and Max corner. Tim takes out one of the 100-yard markers. They didn't invalidate your lap, though. No black and whites.
I don't know how that's not possible.
Yeah, again, I just love the back end of this course, too. Like, you get through the first couple of corners, and then down through here, not only is the view spectacular, but just the racing. You're going downhill. You're cornering hard. You have to think, your left foot, your braking foot, must be sore after this race, no matter how great these guys are in terms of shape. They've got to slam that thing.
Oh!
He hung on. Got a little slippery through there, Tim.
Oh, that was it. Probably don't need to brake as much there. Don't need to brake
Carried
as much
it through.
there.
There we go, Tim.
Really bad lap. It's a lap.
That's a 108.
Really bad lap.
You beat your rival.
It's
That's what it says.
really bad lap.
Sorry, Grant Willis. Tim is 31,000th in the entire world. How about that, Tim?
You're right. What is this, like an achievement medal? It's like,
this is why you watch.
Played. Here is your
worldwide
medal.
ranking. This is why Tim's with us. Is because we can be 30,000th in the
Hey,
world.
let me tell you, we're 40,000, 30,000. It's all the same, Adam. It's all the same.